Odd jobs, creepy customers.
Chapter 1. Cemetery Gates. "I have another odd job for you, Ella," says Great Aunt Raven. She lifts the teacup to her thin lips and sips the hot tea. I lick a bit of dried toast from my fingers, fold my napkin, and set it on the breakfast table. The grandfather clock tick-tocks in the corner. "What is it?" I ask. I know she won't tell me. Great Aunt Raven's odd jobs are always a mystery. She looks at her pocket watch and twists the gold chain around her bony fingers. "Fetch your coat," she says. "It is time to go." As we walk down the road to Windy Hollow, a nasty chill bites my cheeks. Great Aunt Raven walks 3 steps in front of me. "Here we are," she says, stopping in front of a building I've never seen before. "I will return later." She walks away. Her long black skirt swishes on the sidewalk. A wooden sign sways back and forth above the door. Most of its letters are hidden by black soot. I squint my eyes but can only make out the first word, bread. The clash and clang of metal scares me. I turn and see a crumbling cemetery across the street. Its gates are unlocked and unruly. I will never get used to this creepy town, I think. I push the door open and step inside. Chapter 2. Blue Eyes. The bakery air does not smell like butter and cinnamon. The shelves are not filled with pastel pastries. Instead, the room smells like stale crust. The walls are bare. A thin man in a white apron greets me. Dark circles hang under his tired eyes. "I am Baker Jones," he says. "Thank you for coming. When your aunt heard I needed extra help, she said you would be up for the job." I bet she did, I think. I shake his cold, clammy hand and follow him to the register. A dusty old leather book sits on the counter. With shaky fingers, he lifts the cover and opens to a page with today's date at the top. "When customers pick up their orders," he says, "take their money and cross off their names." I nod. He says no more and limps off to the kitchen. I scan the words on the yellowed paper. Blood orange citrus loaf, Mrs. Featherstone. Death by chocolate croissants, Mr. Smith. Devil dark sugar bread, Professor Edgerton. Something shifts behind me. I turn to see a brown-haired boy, also in a white apron. "I'm Martin," he says. "Ella, right? You're new to Windy Hollow." Martin sets a lumpy loaf of bread on the counter. Dark orange frosting drips off in sticky blobs. My stomach turns at the sour smell. "Right," I answer. "I moved here a few months ago." Just then, the door creaks open, letting in a gust of icy wind. A tiny woman in a headscarf limps over to the counter. She quietly hands me some money. Her piercing blue eyes stare through me, sending shivers down my spine. Chapter 3. Martin's Secret. "Mrs. Featherstone?" I ask, checking the book. She says nothing. Her eyes have a far-off look. Her bony face is gray and pale. I take the money and cross her name off the list. "That was weird," I say when she's gone. "It's like she didn't even see me." Martin shrugs and heads back to the kitchen. Time passes slowly. I drum my fingers on the dusty counter. Just as I start to doze off, Martin brings the next order. It's a tray of crusty croissants with sharp shards of dark chocolate. "I think these are his," Martin whispers. Surprised, I turn to see a man in a top hat in front of the register. "Oh," I gasp. How did, Mr. Smith?" My voice trails off when I see his piercing blue eyes. He stares through me like Mrs. Featherstone did. I take his money and cross off his name. Then I watch him walk away. "What's up with your creepy customers?" I ask. But Martin ignores me again. Later, he brings the third order, a braided rope of dark sugar bread. I wait for the last customer, but by the time Great Aunt Raven returns, one name is still on the list. "What about Professor Edgerton?" I ask Baker Jones. Leave it, he mutters. The professor comes at night. I look at Martin and can tell he knows more. As I am leaving, he grabs my arm. Meet me here at midnight, he whispers. Chapter 4. The Final Order. I tiptoe over Great Aunt Raven's squeaky wooden floor. Once outside, I escape into the black night. Martin waits for me at the corner by the bakery. I wanted to tell you, he whispers, but Baker Jones would have heard. Just then, the bakery door opens. A tall man steps into the lantern light. He is wearing a gray cape. He looks over his shoulder. Even from here, I can see his piercing blue eyes. Professor Edgerton? I ask. Hurry, says Martin. The professor walks quickly. Martin and I follow a few steps behind. At the end of the street, he turns. My stomach drops. He is headed for the cemetery, I think. We follow the professor through the iron gates. They clang and clack in the wild wind. But on the other side, he is gone. Where did he go? I ask. You still don't understand, says Martin. I search the shadows. Martin pulls a flashlight from his pocket. He shines it on a row of nearby tombstones. I have seen the words before, but I can't remember where. Then, with the last name, I understand. Featherstone, Smith, Edgerton, I gasp. Today's customers. Martin holds my shaking hand as we walk back to the bakery. He gets a ladder and wipes the black soot from the sign. When I read the rest of the words, I can't believe my eyes. Bread for the dead, it says.